Have you ever felt it? That slow, creeping drain, like a vine wrapping around your soul, tightening its grip so gradually you don't notice until you can barely breathe. You're in a room full of people, maybe even laughing next to someone you claim to love, but inside you feel a profound, hollow loneliness. It's a coldness that no embrace can warm. You give and you give, hoping to fill a void in them, only to find the void was opening up inside of you all along. You've asked yourself 1,000 times, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I always attract the same kind of pain, just with a different face? You blame them. You blame the world. You blame love itself. But what if the source of the poison isn't where you've been looking? What if the predator you fear most isn't the person sleeping next to you, but the shadow they awaken within you? Tonight, we descend into the depths of the human psyche, guided by a man who wasn't afraid of the dark, Carl Jung. We are not here to offer you 7 easy steps to a happy relationship. We are here to uncover the brutal, terrifying, and ultimately liberating truth about why you are drawn to toxic dynamics. You think you're a victim of circumstance, but you are about to find out that you have been an unconscious participant in your own destruction. And that discovery, that is the only thing that can ever set you free. Carl Jung was not just a psychologist, he was a cartographer of the soul. He charted the vast, hidden continents within us all, the unconscious. And for Jung, the most dangerous and powerful force lurking in that inner world was what he called the shadow. The shadow is everything you are but pretend you are not. It's your repressed anger, your hidden shame, your forbidden desires, your buried power. It is the dark brother, the forgotten twin, living in the basement of your mind. Society, your parents, your religion, they taught you to lock that door and throw away the key. To be good, to be nice, to be acceptable. But Jung warned us, everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. It does not disappear, it waits, and it finds its way out through a terrifying process called projection. When you refuse to see the anger in yourself, you will see it everywhere in others. When you deny your own vulnerability, you will be endlessly drawn to people who seem desperately fragile, or you will despise them. This is the key to understanding toxic relationships. You meet someone, and there's an instant, magnetic pull, a sense of familiarity. You think it's destiny. Jung would say it's your unconscious recognizing a perfect screen on which to project your unowned self. You aren't falling in love with them. You are falling in love with a lost piece of your own soul, reflected in their eyes. Or you are falling into a battle with a demon that is actually your own. The toxic person becomes the actor playing the role of your shadow on the stage of your life. And you, unknowingly, have written the script. Where does the ache truly begin? It begins long before they ever said that cutting word, long before they ignored your call, long before the first lie. The seed of this pain was planted in your own soil, in the unhealed wounds of your past. That partner who is endlessly critical, who makes you feel like you are never good enough. They are simply giving voice to the merciless inner critic you've carried since childhood. You find their judgment so painful, because a part of you already believes it to be true. That friend who is emotionally unavailable, a ghost in your life. You desperately chase their affection because they mirror your own fear of true intimacy, a fear you learned was necessary for survival. You are trying to heal your past by reenacting it in the present. You are trying to win a game that was rigged from the start, a game you designed. The pain you feel is not just their betrayal, it is the agony of your own self-abandonment echoing across the years. Think of the pattern. The narcissist who needs constant adoration is drawn to the empath who was taught their only value is in giving. The chaotic addict is drawn to the rigid controller who secretly craves to lose control. It's a lock and key, a perfect, devastating dance. The toxicity feels so potent because the other person is not just hurting you, they are pressing down on a bruise that was already there. They are a living, breathing reminder of the part of you that you have neglected, judged, and exiled. The pain is a distress signal from your own soul, begging you to finally turn around and look at what you've left behind in the dark. The great illusion, the lie that keeps you shackled to this cycle of pain, is this, that the problem is entirely out there. It's a comforting lie, isn't it? He is a narcissist. She is emotionally unstable. They are the toxic one. It frames you as the innocent victim, the blameless hero in a tragic story. And the whole world will applaud your narrative. Your friends will rally behind you. Self-help books will validate you. Society loves simple stories of good versus evil. But this illusion is a cage. As long as you believe the monster is entirely external, you are powerless. You are doomed to wait for the world to change, for others to stop being who they are. You will leave one relationship only to find the same dynamics waiting for you in the next, because the common denominator is you. The society we live in doesn't want you to understand this. It thrives on you being a consumer of external solutions. Buy this course, find this perfect partner, change your appearance, and then you will be happy. It is a marketplace of distraction from the one place you are terrified to look, within. The unspoken truth is that you are drawn to these people because they feel like home. A broken, painful home, but a familiar one. Your psyche is not seeking happiness, it is seeking wholeness. And to become whole, it must integrate the parts of itself it has disowned. So it will endlessly seek out people who embody that disowned part, forcing you into a confrontation. The illusion is that you are running from them. The reality is that you are running from yourself. Now for the truth. The raw, unfiltered Jungian truth that can either shatter you or set you free. The other person is not your problem. They are your symptom. They are a message from your deep self. The toxic relationship is a fever, a painful signal that there is a profound infection within your own psyche that requires attention. Jung called the path to healing individuation. It is the journey of becoming an individual, no longer divided against yourself. And this journey leads directly through the heart of your own darkness. To protect yourself from toxic relationships is not to build higher walls, learn better defense mechanisms, or spot red flags more quickly. That is a game of defense, and you will eventually lose. True protection is to make the unconscious conscious. It is to go down into the basement of your mind, turn on the light, and have a conversation with the monster you've locked away. This is shadow work. You must ask yourself, what in me is being activated by this person? If they are controlling, where in my life have I given away my power? If they are deceitful, what truths am I refusing to tell myself? If they are cruel, what cruelty am I inflicting upon my own soul? The toxic person is a mirror, a dirty, cracked, distorted mirror, but a mirror nonetheless, and it is showing you the face of your own shadow. The moment you truly see this, their power over you begins to dissolve. Because you realize the war is not with them, the war is with yourself, and you are the only one who can sign the peace treaty. This realization does not bring instant peace, it brings war, an internal civil war. The part of you that has built its identity on being the good one, the victim, will fight this truth with every fiber of its being. Your ego will scream in protest. It will tell you this is victim blaming. It will tempt you with the sweet, familiar poison of righteous anger. It's so much easier to be the hero fighting a dragon than it is to admit the dragon lives inside your own castle. This is the dark night of the soul. You are caught in a terrible limbo. The old relationship is exposed as an unbearable lie, but the path of turning inward feels like a terrifying abyss. To take responsibility feels like accepting blame for the abuse you suffered, but they are not the same. Responsibility is not about blame, it is about reclaiming your power. It is the acknowledgement that while you may not be responsible for their actions, you are responsible for your own presence in the dynamic, for your own healing, for your own choices moving forward. This conflict is the crucible of transformation. It is the moment you stand at a crossroads. One path leads back to the familiar cycle of pain, blame, and powerlessness. The other path leads into the shadows of your own heart. It is a lonelier path. It promises no immediate comfort. But it is the only path that leads to true freedom. It's the moment you stop asking, why are they doing this to me, and start asking the far more terrifying and powerful question, why am I allowing this to be done? So, how do you walk this path? How do you rebuild from the ashes of this realization? You begin by consciously withdrawing your projections. You practice seeing the other person for who they are, a flawed and wounded human being, not the larger-than-life monster or savior you have made them out to be. And in doing so, you take back the pieces of yourself that you gave to them. The power you saw in them was your own. The weakness you despised in them was your own. The light you adored in them was your own. Jung's philosophy is your toolkit for this reconstruction. Active imagination. You close your eyes and you consciously dialogue with the figures in your mind, your inner critic, your inner child, your shadow. You ask them what they want, why they are hurting. You listen. Dream analysis. You treat your dreams as sacred letters from your unconscious, guiding you toward what needs to be healed. You write. You create. You spend time in silence, not distracting yourself from the discomfort, but sitting with it, learning its language. This is the process of building a solid core. It's forging an inner container so strong that another person's toxicity can no longer shatter you, because your sense of self-worth is no longer up for negotiation. It is no longer dependent on their approval or disapproval. You don't need them to change. You don't need an apology. Your freedom is not contingent on them. You become your own source of validation, your own protector. You are not just healing from a relationship, you are healing from a lifetime of self-abandonment. In the end, you will come to understand the most profound paradox of all. The poison was never truly in their bite, but in your own unexamined wounds. The toxic person was not your curse, they were your catalyst, a brutal, merciless, and necessary teacher who forced you to descend into your own hell to find your heaven. They held up a mirror, and for years you cursed the reflection until you finally found the courage to recognize the face as your own. True protection from the darkness of others is not a shield you hold up. It is the light you kindle within. It is the courage to be whole, to embrace your shadow and your light, your strength and your vulnerability. When you are no longer divided, you can no longer be conquered. When you no longer fear your own depths, you will no longer be drawn to the shallows of others. The most toxic people will simply lose their magnetic pull. They will become irrelevant, like ghosts from a life that is no longer yours. So I leave you with this question to echo in the quiet chambers of your soul. Now that you know the monster in the story might have your own eyes, will you dare to look? Or will you turn the page, hoping for a different ending to the same old tale, forever haunted by a shadow you refuse to name? If this video touched something inside of you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Comment below with what made you think the most. We'll see you in the next video.